Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Mel. I grew up playing outside.
And I grew up doing something meaningful, watching movies and TV.
I never had cable, and we finally bought a VCR about the same time DVD players hit the market.
Throughout our marriage, Mel has sadly missed many of my pop culture references and movie quotes.
So it's time to catch up on all the films I missed.
Good evening, Melissa.
Hey, Nick.
How are you?
I'm great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you feeling suspicious?
We can't go on together with suspicious minds.
That's true. Truer words.
So no, I'm not feeling suspicious.
No? I just thought you might be because we're going to watch a movie and you usually try to guess what it is, so I thought you might be feeling suspicious.
I'm on guard.
You're on guard?
I'm wondering what this clue means.
Okay.
Are there any other things you'd like to say?
No, because I don't want to give anything away about the movie if you don't know what it is. So, I think you've firmly answered that you don't know what this week's movie is.
Not a clue.
No, okay. I will give you one. I'll give you one final clue. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
It's a view that you would die for.
A view that you would die for?
Yeah.
Huh. A view that you would die for?
Yeah.
Nothing's coming to mind.
All right.
What is it?
A View to a Kill.
A View to a Kill?
Correct.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of this title before?
No, I haven't.
No? Oh, that's so exciting. Okay.
Huh. This sounds like an Alfred Hitchcock movie.
Oh, that's an interesting guess. I love Alfred Hitchcock films.
I do too.
They're wonderful.
And I have not seen them all, but that would be kind of older than what you normally show
That
me.
would be, but I keep things spicy every now and again.
True,
You never know.
True.
So, A View to a Kill, nothing, huh? It's hitting on your pop culture brain. It's just, there's a vacuum happening right now.
Totally.
Totally?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I've had zero exposure to anything like that title.
Wow. Okay. I'm having, like, it's really funny for me because A, I know what the movie is. B, there's a song associated with the movie. So as I'm talking to you right now, the song is going through my mind.
Ooh.
So.
Care to sing some of the song?
No. Maybe I can't. I will say this though.
Mm-hmm.
The band that sings this song, I have found difficult to sing their songs well.
Oh.
Which I like to sing. So there's few artists that are kind of difficult for me to sing, and this is one of them. Yeah.
This is so many cryptic things happening right now.
I know. Yeah.
Have you seen this movie?
You know, I'm pretty sure I've seen this movie. I think I've seen this movie. But it blends in with other movies.
Oh.
So it's one of those where I could be like, I would be hard pressed to describe the exact plot line of this movie, but I could give you like a general one, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So anything you're looking forward to about this movie or dreading as we go in?
Okay. So for some reason, all of your clues were bringing to mind like a Perfect Murder and like Hitchcock. And so movies like that I really enjoy.
Okay.
The Agatha Christie movies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about the possibility of having a movie sort of in that genre.
Okay.
And was that your question?
Yeah. And then if there's anything you're dreading.
Well, you just kind of said that it's like it blends in with other movies. So maybe it's not memorable or standoutable. That's a word.
Okay. Standoutable. We'll definitely make a t-shirt of that.
So yeah, maybe it's not that great if you don't remember the details about it. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, that comment in and of itself is kind of a clue, but I'm not going to go deeper than that. Okay. So give me a movie poster and a tagline for this movie you know nothing about. And then we can go check it out.
Gladly.
I love it when you know nothing about them.
A View to a Kill.
Correct. A View to a Kill.
So it's because I'm on the Hitchcock thing, I keep
Sure.
thinking about like someone being in an apartment and seeing something across the way.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that Vertigo? That's not Vertigo. That's Rear Window.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So
Have you seen Rear Window?
I think so.
Okay. You say that to every movie when I ask you.
It's unsure.
Okay.
Okay, so oh yeah, the movie poster.
Movie poster and the tagline, yes.
Okay. So maybe it's a you're like the view is like you're looking through a window across an alleyway to another window.
Okay.
And there's a light on in the other window, and there's like a silhouette of someone standing over another person, and there's like a knife in their hand.
Ooh, okay. That
So-
would be a view to a kill.
Right.
That's
I
quite
went
literal.
literal.
You're very literal. Yeah. Okay. All right.
And then the tagline is "Some things should never be seen."
Okay. Something should never be seen.
Some things can't be unseen.
I don't think that's better.
I'm not known for having good taglines.
I think your taglines are delightful. I could say one line and you would know what this movie is, but I'm not going to do it. I'm resisting the urge.
Man, okay.
Resisting the urge. We're going to go. Let's go check it out.
Let's do it. Okay.
This man has a secret ambition.
I propose to end the domination of Silicon Valley. Project Main Strike,
A secret plan.
for which each of you will pay me $100 million.
And a secret weapon.
We're not sure about her. Name's Mayday.
Someone will take care of you.
Oh, you'll see to that personally, will you?
There's only one man who can stop them.
The name is Bond. James Bond.
And I'm Dick Tracy, and you're still under arrest.
In the world of high adventure, the highest number is still 007. Roger Moore is James Bond 007 with Tanya Roberts, Grace Jones, and Christopher Walken. Has James Bond finally met his match? Find out this summer in A View to a Kill. Title song performed by Duran Duran.
Bum, 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 bum. Sorry, that's the Duran Duran theme. That song also is in my head. I would like to explain first off why it's difficult for me to sing Duran Duran songs, which
By all means.
obviously this is the most important part of this podcast because we have to hit this right away. The singers in Duran Duran, they sing in British accents, which normally everybody around the world, when they sing in English, they typically sound like Americans. We could do a whole podcast on this not really related to film lag, of course. But anyway, that's why I have trouble singing Duran Duran sometimes, because I don't know how to sing in a British accent and not have it sound funky. Now that I've got that off my chest, wow, you've never seen that, correct?
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
I had no idea it existed.
When did you know it was a James Bond film?
Like right in the very opening credits, like the music and
yep.
Yeah. And then I spent the first, like the intro, as the credits were going, and James Bond is like skiing and trying to like, he got something from someone, and then there's like all these guys skiing after him.
Yeah.
And there's snowboarding and snowmobiles. And I'm trying to figure out which one is this? So I was like, is this Sean Connery?
Yes.
Wait, is this Pierce Brosnan?
Yes.
Who is it? And then you finally get a look at his face, and I'm like, it's the one I don't recognize. It's Roger Moore.
Oh, poor Roger.
I'm sure he's fine.
I'm pretty sure. Well, he's deceased, if I recall correctly.
He did die.
Yeah,
that's right.
So he super doesn't mind it, but in life, he also was a very laid back, cheeky guy, which you totally get from his James Bond. Like he brought like a cheekiness and a campiness as well to James Bond, but a lot of fun. He brought a lot of fun and that kind of like twinkle in his eye to the character.
Yeah, definitely.
Watching you though, like watch the movie and then go, is this Pierce Brosnan? I just almost lost my mind. That was my favorite part of the movie by far. That was great.
So who is your favorite Bond?
Oh, well, I mean, I think Pierce Brosnan is my favorite Bond, but that's purely because of the age I was when I saw it.
Right.
I was obsessed with GoldenEye, as we covered earlier on an earlier episode. There was the video game, the tie-in. It was like a lifestyle. So Pierce Brosnan will always be my favorite. But Roger Moore is not one of my favorites. I really was always like, he literally like had the longest streak. I think he did 7 films over the course of 12 years. So
wow. He
he holds the record so far for the most Bond films.
This was his 7th and final film
Correct.
as James Bond.
Yes. Yeah. We saw an interview with him where he was like, well, my old friend, the producer, he's like, he just keeps asking me, do you want to do another one? And I can't disappoint him.
We can't find anyone else.
Can't find anyone else. So you hear that a lot, though, with the James Bond films. They're like, oh, Daniel Craig, is he going to do another one? Because they can't find another person to do it, etc. Anyway, who's your favorite?
Oh, Daniel Craig.
Well.
But he's the first one I saw. And I really feel like the modern ones changed the story a lot.
Get that parkour.
They changed it more to my liking. The direction they took it was definitely like playing into like the kind of movies I would prefer. So
okay,
yeah,
I am just baffled that, and again, this is like part of the premise of why we do this podcast. But I'm baffled that you had not seen a James Bond film until Daniel Craig.
Okay, I think one time I was in France and there was one playing
in the background,
and it had English subtitles. And I remember, I think I watched most of it, and it was like a lazy, like, I'm tired and jet lagged.
Okay.
And so this is just all I can do right now. And I remember just being confused. Is like, why is this guy so special?
Cold
I said it.
Wow. Was it this movie?
No, it was a Sean Connery.
Okay. I was like, this movie takes place in France for a lot of it.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. In a minute or less, give me a summary of this film.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And starting now.
Okay, so James Bond finds this computer chip. And
you can go with either. I'm fine.
Okay.
It's the 80s.
Right. And it leads him to this guy who's like all kinds of mysterious. Seems like a good guy, but he has his hands in a lot of pots. He's really rich and seems sus.
Yeah.
And so he kind of does some digging and he finds out that one, he's like rigging the horse races. I don't know how that ties into anything. 2, honestly.
Yeah.
And 2, he has this like plan to, and he slowly uncovers this. Like, you don't find this out until later, but he has this plan to flood Silicon Valley so that all the microchip producers can't make microchips, and his company, Zorin Industries, will be the sole provider of microchips, and they'll like have all this wealth from the increased business.
Yes.
So to do that, the bad guy, played by Christopher Walken. Love it. So the bad guy, he's trying to buy up oil wells and oil fields so that he has the pipe infrastructure so he can like pump seawater into it to flood the valley. And that leads us to this beautiful woman whose father owned an oil well, and Christopher Walken kind of is like trying to buy the shares, but she had to like, I don't know, she has to keep everything afloat, sell all her furniture to somehow fight him.
She doesn't want to sell her oil. It's like a family business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Bond is like figuring all this out, saving her as we go on, because she gets like taken by the bad guys. And there's car chases, there's explosions. And
I can't believe you're still going. I would have stopped it. He wants to flood Silicon Valley. The end.
And James Bond foils his plan. The end.
The end. There you go. And apparently it had one of the greatest car chases on film, which I was like, wait, what are they talking about? Which scene?
Right. So we were watching a television interview, like from when this movie was made, just shortly after it came out.
Yeah.
And the TV announcer was like, and it's one of the most, it is the biggest car chase ever filmed to this date. And you and I were both like, wait, are they talking about which one? There's a lot of car chases.
Yeah.
There's the car chase where the car he's in, this was my favorite.
That was a good one.
He like somehow drives on top of a bus and then falls off the bus, and the roof of his car gets taken off, and then the back of his car gets taken off, and he's driving half of a car on the streets of France.
Yes.
That one's awesome. Streets of Paris.
Yes.
Was it the one where they're in a hook and ladder
the
fire truck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or was it I don't know if you count this as a chase scene, but the whole Zeppelin in the air getting tied up on the Golden Gate Bridge?
It's definitely better than Howard the Duck and the plane, the little glider they did.
My God.
So much better.
Yeah, even better than Short Circuit.
I think it was
that car chase.
Yeah. Oof, I don't know. That was a good one too. I think it was the fire truck one they were talking about.
Yeah.
And the only thing that when I was watching that, first I was like, why is he trying to get to the back of the fire truck? Like she's driving and he's trying to get to the back where the controller is for it. And then he literally, there's like, 5 minutes of him trying to get to the back? And then he knocks one car away once he gets back there, and then they jump a bridge. It seemed very strange.
Yeah.
But the vertical bridge was cool. Like when they had the cop cars on the bridge and then it literally went vertical and the cars fell down. That part was pretty neat.
I liked that part a lot. Yeah.
So this is a James Bond film. What did you think of the technology that was used? What was in your mind when you were seeing some of this stuff?
I wish I remembered more of it, because while we were watching it, I was like, oh, that's cool. I want to remember that. And then I totally forgot. But that is a key component of a James Bond film. And in this case, it was cool. Like the gadgets they had.
Yeah.
The first one that we noticed was when he's in Antarctica or wherever in the snowy beginning.
The sub.
He's trying to get away, and this iceberg, all of a sudden a little manhole opens up, and it has like the Union Jack flag on the inside of it. And it's like this little iceberg, but hiding underneath it is this wonderful plush,
so luxurious,
posh submersible with a beautiful agent in it, like waiting to drive him away.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah. Who doesn't want one of those, right?
What technology do you remember and like?
I just a lot of the things they were using that were like detection devices were like, they looked like transistor radios. They just looked like transistor radios that they'd repurposed to be like, this detects. I don't even remember what they were detecting. James Bond using literally like what every single reporter in the world had, like maybe 5 years later, those little mini cassette recorders. Yes. He was using one of those for his spy gear, just a mini set recorder. That was a good one. And just in general, the fact that Silicon Valley, think about that. When you think Silicon Valley, what do you think? Now.
The show.
Well, yeah.
I think of tech giants and like this little lush valley.
Yes.
It's like a little, I don't know, a hubbub of creativity and innovation.
Do you think of factories, or do you think of like software
like a Google
companies?
office?
Yes,
That's
exactly. Like this was a good reminder of like the origin of Silicon Valley in general, like the manufacturing base it used to be. which is, now the name's still there, but yeah.
Back to the technology component. So at one point, the bad guy, Christopher Walken, James Bond is in his office, and Christopher Walken is using like a wall camera to
behind a mirror, right?
Yeah, he's using it to scan James Bond's face and then look for him and like identify him. So it's like facial recognition technology.
Yes.
Well, at the time, I think it was the director, someone from the CIA, he's since retired, and there was a movie, Argo, that was based on him.
That's a great movie.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
It's really good.
Let's put it on the list. So his boss said to him, do we have that technology? Can we do that? And he was like, no, we can't do that. And so his boss said, make it so. So isn't that interesting how
really
like
cool.
that creativity and like that idea led to the creation of stuff that's now used to exploit us.
Imagination, that's part of the cool part about movies too. It's in sci-fi in general stories. It's thinking about what could be in the world and then pushing that boundary and then people having to make it real. Yeah. My least favorite gadget was the like RC robot. Like it looked like it was on a remote control car, which maybe in 1985 it just looked a little campy to me.
It screamed droid to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I just think droids are cute. So
maybe they were trying to jump on the Star Wars bandwagon at that point. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Do you know why I picked this movie, by the way?
That's one of my questions. Okay. Please tell me.
This movie was released on May 24th, 1985. So when we have our podcast, like when you're listening to this, it's like a day away from being the 39th anniversary of this film.
Whoa. Yeah. What year did you say it was released?
1985.
1985.
Yeah.
Think about the 80s.
The 80s.
What was happening?
So many things. Probably the most impressive thing that I don't remember seeing, and I could be wrong, I'm very likely wrong, but I don't remember seeing James Bond using a shotgun before. And he uses a shotgun in this movie. He probably did. I just don't remember. And Roger Moore does not look like a human being who would hold a shotgun. He does not.
No, and he looked really awkward holding it. And actually, so he was very open about his feelings about this movie. He was not happy with this movie. He was horrified that this was the one he went out on as James Bond.
I'm sorry. Was that $7.5 million he got? That just probably hated spending it too.
Well, one of the reasons why he hated it was the violence. And he thought that it was just glorying too much in the violence and taking it away from the spirit of the franchise.
Okay. When I was watching it, did you think it was overly violent? There's one spot I can think of, but I thought they did it for a very specific reason. Like, it seemed like normal James Bond violence to me. The only part that seemed like sociopathic, like, was when Christopher Walken, they trapped the workers in there and just used Uzis to just kill everybody.
Yeah, and he refers to that, I think. So I think that was one of the instances that he was like, that's just not James Bond.
Yeah. I could see that. Also, though, for the character, it really grounds you in what you're dealing with that dude. And he was like ex-KGB, and Christopher Walken was great. I love Christopher Walken.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how you felt about him as a villain and how he did.
I think he did great. Like his eyes, the look he has permanently in his eyes is excellent for villains. Like he just looks like he's always thinking about something else, which villains, you kind of transpose that into like, they're thinking about how to take it down the world, if they're going to kill you or not, all these things that they calculate.
Or how they're going to kill you.
They're going to kill you. Yeah. Well, how do you keep a villain engaged, I also thought Grace Jones, she's intense.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd seen this movie. This was my first time seeing it all the way through. I probably saw clips. But I thought she did great too. She was just so Grace Jones, though. Like, I have no other words to say it. She's Grace Jones.
Right. She is herself.
Yeah.
When we first see Grace Jones and Christopher Walken, they're at the horse races.
Right.
And James Bond is there with Moneypenny. This was her final film too, as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he's there. They're in like top hats because it's the races.
Oh, it's
so
the
every
England,
woman's
yeah.
wearing like a beautiful hat. The men have like top hats and the full dress.
Gloves. They're all wearing gloves.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they are looking at Grace Jones and Christopher Walken. But Grace Jones is wearing this most intense, weird headdress.
It was like...
It's black and red.
Yeah, it reminded me of Star Wars or something.
Yeah. Or this MTV video I saw a long time ago. I think it's like Left of the Pier. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, she was so striking and stunning. I did not even know at that point Christopher Walken was in the movie.
I was aware. Like, I was waiting for you to freak out that he was in there. You could finally see him.
I was only looking at her and trying to figure out what is she wearing, and she's just so striking. First of all, her face is like gorgeous and like flawless, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But she's also intensely scary. Yeah.
She sure is. She sure is.
One of my favorite scenes, actually. Do you know what it is?
Wow, there's so many puns in this movie. Like, it did not disappoint. No, tell me.
When her and Christopher Walken, because they're a couple.
Kind of.
They're sparring.
Yes.
Just kind of for fun.
Yes.
And she's wearing this crazy, like...
leotard?
80s leotard,
yes.
but thong
yes.
style leotard.
Yes.
And Christopher Walken's wearing, I think, like a kimono sort
wearing
of
a
robe.
gi. Okay. It's a martial arts training outfit.
Okay. Yeah. Them sparring is just crazy.
It is pretty funny. And I'm pretty sure he ended up on top in the spar. And I'm like, that would never happen.
No, I did not buy that for 1 minute.
I didn't buy that at all.
Yeah.
No. Like, I don't think he would ever spar with her. I'd be too scared to spar with her. I'd be afraid she would bite a piece of me off.
Even now, with however old she is, I would be too afraid.
Wow. I like it when the Bond films are a little kooky and a little crazy, you know? And
okay.
These ones definitely fit the bill. Probably, it's the only time I can recall a villain having like a change of heart in a James Bond film too.
That was extremely surprising.
Yeah, I was shocked.
And we're talking about Grace Jones, right?
Yes.
At the end.
Mayday.
Yeah, Mayday. What a great name. So this is crazy because at the end, well, do you want to explain the change of heart?
Oh, well, I mean, that's part of it too, though. Is it a change of heart? It's more like she got betrayed, so she's like, I'm going to sacrifice myself so the bomb doesn't... They needed to get a bomb out of there or else it's going to go off and sink the whole valley. And so she's on this mine cart and there's a brake and one of them has to hold the brake and it's either hit her or Bond. She's like, get him for me. And then she goes out and blows up. Yeah. Which, I mean... That's actually a very Mayday / Grace Jones thing to do. Like, I will blow up to get you. Like, it feels pretty on brand for her. So
it was really interesting because, like, for a brief 3 minutes, her and Bond are like not trying to kill each other.
Yeah,
they're in the same space, and up until then, every time they were in the same space. Not every time.
Not every time.
There was another time. Some other things happened.
He was deep undercover.
But so they were in the same space, but they were working together to the same goal.
Yeah.
So on set, like all during filming, they had a very tense relationship. Like
the actors?
The actors,
okay.
Yeah. So like later, Grace Jones would go on to say, oh, he was a wonderful man and there was no tension between us or whatever. But Roger Moore said that he just felt like they never got along. Their trailers were next to each other and she would listen to music really loudly and it would like, he couldn't take his afternoon nap, right? With the music playing so loud. And so he asked her to turn it down, but she didn't. And so he got really mad. He actually threw a chair at her trailer and there was just tension. And so she also said that maybe one of the reasons he felt this way, I can't even say it, is that she stayed in character, hating him all the time.
Wait a minute.
So she like, her character was like, you know, hated him or whatever.
Yes.
So she was in character even off camera.
Wow.
And
I would think
so she was like, maybe that's why he thought we didn't get along.
And she's got a scowl. Like, can you imagine? You're just like, hello, how's your day going? Scowl. Like, wow.
What did I do to you?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Method acting. I didn't know she was a method actor. Wow. That's intense. Wow.
So I was going to ask you what elements make a good James Bond movie for you, and did this one achieve that?
Puns. You need puns. If you don't shake your head over at least 3 puns in a James Bond film, it's not a James Bond film. They don't have to be good ones, right? They should be horrible puns, or at least subtle puns. You need to have puns. You need to have gadgets. And of course, girls. That's a Bond film thing. And then, no, that's it. Puns, gadgets, and girls. That's the main thing. Oh, then action. Yeah, of course. But action and gadgets kind of go together for me.
See, for me, I think it's because I'm not really a James Bond person. I want more intrigue. I want like mystery.
Oh, you want storyline.
Yes.
Weird.
Oh, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, are you asking me what makes a James Bond film, or what are my favorite parts of a James Bond film?
For you, what makes a good James Bond film?
Oh,
and did this one achieve it?
Okay.
Because it didn't for Roger Moore.
It didn't. Yeah. I mean, I would. I walk a weird line with James Bond films. Like it's like history in the U.S. When you're in the 70s, things get a little crazy, right? And when you're in the 80s, it's more intense. Like I kind of feel the way about James Bond films. So I like watching what's reflected from the era in them. But the thing that's persistent between them are the things I mentioned. But I probably enjoy most the gadgets and then just the crazy action scenes, like when they come up with creative ones.
This was when you said gadget, it reminded me of another one that I liked that I wanted to share. When they're on the Zeppelin, which is like an office building that has this huge balloon on top. And so it's really cool how that like works.
Inflates.
But when they're in it, they're having this meeting and one guy is like, well, I'm not going to be a part of this.
Right.
And you and I were like,
oh, that was great.
That's the end of him.
Yes.
So Grace Jones walks him out and she says, you can go wait over there. And he starts to go, I think, down the steps.
It's metal staircase. Yeah. Where does this guy think that he's being taken? Because he's totally calm. And they're like, oh, we're going to put you in this other room on a lower level on a Zeppelin. Like
there's nowhere to go. You're above the ground.
Nowhere to go.
Okay. But she pushes a button and all the steps go shunk, and it turns into a slide.
Yes.
He loses his footing and she opens the door at the bottom and he slides out and just falls into the open sky.
And then he hits the ocean, and then it cuts to, if I remember correctly, Christopher Walken's like, pleased little eyes. Like he does like a little look.
Yeah, totally.
Like he could just sense it was happening or something.
It's like the same look that we give each other like when you come home from Costco with like, you got the right thing.
Oh, yes.
And I'm like,
the satisfaction. Yeah. It is a big moment for me.
You got the unsalted butter. All right.
I did. Yeah, wait, that's a tricky one. That's trickier than anything James Bond has ever had to deal with. I had no idea butter was salted and unsalted until about 6 months ago. Anyway. Wow. If you, did you have more to say on that one? Sorry.
No, go on.
If you could be any James Bond villain, like what would your motif be? Like if you were the villain?
My motif?
Yeah. Or your schlock, your scheme, your schema.
I keep picturing some of the villains are just intense.
They're very intense, yeah.
Well, Christopher Walken was the least intense of them for me.
In this movie?
Yeah, he was like, I think because he played it so well. It wasn't campy. Like, it just seemed like that was him.
Yeah.
It was just really, it felt genuine. My motif. I kind of would like to be maybe like a Cruella, sort of, like wearing fur.
Okay.
And yeah, something like that. Maybe a lot of animal heads on the wall.
Animal heads. Okay. All right. Cool.
That's so me.
So you.
Yeah, right.
I would probably be, I don't know. I'd pick a really weird animal and just fully embrace that animal, and everything would be themed that, like a badger or something.
Or the lemur.
The lemur. Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of you could do with that.
Yes. And it would be whatever animal would provide the maximum amount of puns for the James Bond film. Yeah. Even if it's a goose. And the whole purpose is he could say, your goose is cooked at the end or something.
The last thing that James Bond did in this film was throwing in the towel.
Oh my, wow.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember. I don't even remember him doing that. I remember them being on the bridge.
It's later, and he's in the shower, and a robot creeps into the room.
He threw it onto the RC robot GoBot thing. Yes.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Oh my gosh! Wait. Okay, so I need to tell you a little more trivia.
Sure.
Okay, so first of all, Dolph Lundgren made his first appearance in this movie.
Wait a minute. What?
Yes. because he was dating Grace Jones.
Yeah.
And he just happened to be around, and they're like, we need a bodyguard. Here, you. And so he was like a bodyguard for a really hot second.
Oh, I gotta rewatch it. Man.
But okay,
That's
guess
awesome.
who was offered the role of Christopher Walken, of the villain?
Sylvester Stallone.
No.
No, it's because you just said Dolph Lundgren.
Someone with a British accent, a genuine
British accent in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Ian Holm?
No.
Bilbo.
Think of someone who spans film and music.
Film and music. Oh, Sting.
No.
Man.
That was a good guess.
Thank you. Phil Collins. I really wanted to be Phil Collins. And his whole shtick would be drums. And it'll be right after he left Genesis, and he would just do different drum things to make blades fly away.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. He turned down this role because he said the script was terrible and workmanlike. And he wanted to do The Labyrinth instead. David
Bowie?
Yes.
I just picture him hanging out with Grace Jones all the time as well.
I know, for real. Yeah.
He would have been, there's a movie called The Hunger where he looks exactly like Christopher Walken in that movie. He looks exactly like him.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. And it was filmed around this time too. So I wonder if he was like, do I want to have bleached blonde hair for this one or this one?
No, he thought the script was terrible.
No.
He was like, I'm not going to have any part with this script.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the whole weird horse tranquilizing thing that, gave them an excuse to have a horse chase, I feel like this movie was an excuse to do things.
Yeah, the plot was really meandering and wide and confusing.
I mean, it feels believable, oddly enough, to me, because humans are weird. They pick weird things to gravitate to, and like a weird convoluted plot by a maniac feels like it could potentially happen. But
they could have taken the whole horse thing out of it.
Yeah, but then they wouldn't be able to have a horse chase. James Bond had a horse chase.
There were other chases, though.
Yeah, but there were horse chases, Melissa. And there was a fire truck chase for some reason. I like the ski chase. That was my favorite.
My favorite, altogether favorite part was they had to go to this document, like City Hall, the document section or whatever, to find the
archive.
Yeah. Okay. And it exploded. There's an explosion.
Yes.
And James Bond is outside, and the police come, and they're like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" The policeman's interrogating him.
Yeah.
And Bond is kind of leaning against the fire truck, and he's trying to explain, "I'm in the Secret Service." He's finally opened up about who he is. And the police officer is, "I don't care if you're Dick Tracy. You're coming with me." And James Bond just unscrews the water hose valve on the side of the fire truck. Yeah. And this huge jet of water just plows the policeman over, and then they get away.
That was funny. That was very much a Roger Moore, like, playful thing, I think, too.
Yeah.
That felt very much in that realm. That was good. So what, if any, messages do you think were in this film?
Aren't we out of time? Do we need any messages?
Oh, there's always time for messages.
And there's always time to look posh and polished. Yeah. That's my answer.
Actually, that's a great answer.
Thank you.
Sorry, I just keep thinking about how they worked in the line "a view to a kill" into the movie, and it made no sense.
It doesn't.
So I think that's the message of this movie. Sometimes things that don't make sense because that's life sometimes.
Wow. So that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Tell us what you think of this film in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.